She was definitely groundbreaking. She was a rebel and absolutely unique.
She really developed one of the first modern dance techniques, working with nature, telling these emotionally true stories.
Perfectionist and a living legend.
During her career as a dancer and choreographer in the 1900s, Martha Graham founded the Martha Graham Dance Company and the Martha Graham School, resulting in a revolution to contemporary dance that focused on elemental movements of contraction and release. Martha Graham was born on May 11, 1894 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Graham began her career in church at the morning service. Under the enchanting church music, this motivated little child danced solemnly down the long aisle to the altar as her mother's head turned away. However, Graham's great sensation only lasted until her mother interrupted and took the tear-eyed performer home in disgrace. Graham moved with her family to California when she was 14. 3 years later, she attended a Los Angeles recital by the dance pioneer Ruth St. Denis. Not only did these moments initiate Graham's interest in dance, but they also encouraged her to drive forward her determination. At 22, a late age for an aspiring dancer, Graham, after finally finding her own destiny, started dancing at the Denishaw School of Dancing and Related Arts.
And so that was inspirational to me, since I felt I was a late bloomer as well and had to work really hard to catch up.
After 7 years with Denishaw, Graham moved to New York City, giving solo recitals and eventually launching the Martha Graham Dance Company in 1929, the oldest dance company in America. Her way of creating her dances differed from other dance companies. Instead of finding music to fit her dances, or choreographing her dances to fit her music, she demanded a special music for a sound background.
Aaron Copland was a really important composer in his own right. Martha Graham was an important choreographer, and together they created this fabulous collaboration.
Also, Graham honored the body, so she designed the company's costumes for most of her career. The contemporary style of dress involved comfort over elegance.
Martha really liked to mold her costumes to the body, so it exposed a lot, and she loved the neckline that was low, as well as a back that was plunging down.
Even though she had a late start for a dancer, she danced until age 76, with a career longer than most other dancers. Yet, Graham continued to choreograph and did her last piece in 1990 at age 95.
She did all the choreography. She traveled, even when she was, I think, in her 80s.
Introducing highly personal techniques and an independent spirit, Graham broke away from traditional styles of movement, the European ballet, and launched a revolutionary new dance form. While ballet developed shapes and movements of beautiful designs, Graham created movements in order to communicate about human emotions.
By the year 1900, ballet had gotten very artificial. It was very much about spectacle and costumes and lovely ladies on stage and having 500 dancers on the stage and kind of overwhelming the audience with spectacle. And modern dance came along and said, you know, dance is about telling the truth. And it's not about all of this spectacle and display of women's bodies.
Nothing could deflect her from her sacred mission, to chart the graph of the heart through movement. That driving force of God that plunges through me is what I live for.
It was really about showcasing emotion, universal emotions, really connecting to nature, to universal forces, and sort of liberating the body from these restrictive ballet costumes and point shoes, you know, bare feet, loose costumes, things like that. So there was a lot of, it really rebelled against that world of ballet, which it saw as too artificial.
Overall, Graham's technique used the breath as an inspiration for her movements. and focused on elements of contraction and release, while ballet focused on more intricate footworks.
She actually had a series of exercises called the breathings. Breathings on 2, breathings on 4, breathings on 3.
The Graham contraction is described as a C curve of the spine, signifying the exhalation. In response to the contraction, the release draws the spine back to a regular position while inhaling.
And she infused dramatic intent on that. So the contraction might portray fear, withdrawal, sadness, loneliness, and the release might portray victory, joy, overcoming obstacles.
Also, she used the spiral, which twists the torso starting at the pelvis and then moving up the body.
You can tell how old a tree is by the number of rings, which again is a spiral. And the whole infinity sign is based on a circle and a spiral.
Martha Graham enlivened the body with raw electrical emotion.
Her style was more about communication, and she took her focus to the torso. And so that contraction and release was all about the torso. The spiral was all about the torso. And in that form of communication, she would explore the inner landscape of one's soul.
Martha Graham's company continued to perform for over 85 years, and even after Graham's death at age 96 in 1991. Many of the original dances, such as Appalachian Springs and Clytemnestra, are still performed today. Also, many dancers aspired to join their company. Martha Graham has been recognized not only in America, but also in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. On Graham's 117th birthday, Google made a doodle animation for her, incorporating her well-known dance techniques. Without Graham's breakthrough in her era, modern dance would never exist, nor would her story inspire so many young dancers today. She left behind works and techniques which people still use and preserve today, and invented her own personal vocabulary for dance.
Dance is communication, and the great desire is to speak clearly and beautifully and with inevitability. And this is true of all of us. It's true of me. It's true of every member of my company.
After all, Martha Graham's influence on dance was often compared to that of Picasso's on modern visual arts, Stravinsky's on music, or Frank Lloyd Wright's on architecture. Although some people refused to accept her style, many others found it spectacular.
They continue to foster Graham's ingenuity and spirit by preserving her works and her masterpieces and commissioning new choreographers that are inspired by Martha's legacy.
When choreographer Anthony Tudor asked Graham whether she wanted to be remembered as a dancer or choreographer, she replied, "As a dancer, of course." Today, modern dancers and choreographers almost unanimously name her as the single most significant contributor to modern dance.
Future generations can continue to enjoy and be uplifted and inspired by both Martha's work and other choreographers that are setting pieces on the Graham Company.